What made you realize you were the villain in someone's story? I was the kid who always needed to win. Not because I loved competing, but because my dad only showed up when there was a trophy involved. In 8th grade, our school announced this huge regional science fair. The winner got a scholarship and their picture in the paper. My dad immediately circled the date on our kitchen calendar with a red marker. "This is your shot, buddy," he said, patting my shoulder. "Show them what you're made of." Problem was, I had zero clue what to build. While other kids were already brainstorming, I was panicking in the library pretending to research. That's when I spotted Jamie. He was this quiet kid who sat alone at lunch, always sketching in this beat-up notebook. I'd never really talked to him before, but that day I saw him drawing what looked like some kind of machine. I walked over and asked what he was working on. "Water purifier," he said without looking up. "Uses plastic bottles and activated charcoal to clean dirty water. Could help people in places where clean water is hard to get." He showed me his sketches. Multiple designs, calculations, even a timeline for building it. The kid had been working on this for weeks. "That's really cool," I said, trying to sound casual. "Mind if I look at your notes sometime? I'm struggling with my project." Jamie actually smiled. He was excited someone was interested. Over the next 2 weeks, I kept asking Jamie questions. How much charcoal? What size bottles? How do you test if it actually works? He answered everything, happy to share. Then I went home and built the exact same thing. I made tiny changes, used different colored bottles, added a digital timer, made the base a little fancier. But it was his design, his idea, his months of research. I submitted it under my name 3 days before the deadline. Science fair day came. My project looked professional with its neat labels and polished presentation board. Jamie's looked homemade, kind of rough around the edges. When they announced the winners, my name came first. Jamie was sitting 2 tables away. I watched his face when they called my name instead of his. He just nodded and started packing up his project quietly. My dad was beaming. Took me out for ice cream after, saying, "See, you just had to apply yourself. I knew you had it in you." I felt sick eating that ice cream, but I didn't say anything. Jamie never mentioned what happened, never accused me of copying. He just went back to sitting alone at lunch and keeping his notebook closed. Fast forward 6 years. I'm at a job interview for this tech company, sitting in the waiting room, scrolling through my phone when someone walks in. It's Jamie. He's tall now, wearing a nice suit, carrying a portfolio. He recognizes me immediately. "Hey, Ethan," he says politely. "Been a while." We make small talk. Turns out he's interviewing for the same position. He mentions he studied environmental engineering in college, got into water purification systems. "Always been interested in that stuff," he says with a slight smile. "Since middle school, actually." My stomach drops. That night, I couldn't sleep. I ended up Googling Jamie's name, found his blog. It was mostly technical stuff about engineering projects, but there was one old post from high school titled, "The Time I Learned People Will Steal Your Dreams." I read every word. He wrote about spending months designing a water purifier for a science fair, how excited he was to present something that could actually help people, how someone he trusted asked a lot of questions about his project, then how that same person won first place with an identical design while Jamie didn't even make it to finals. He never mentioned my name, didn't need to. The post ended with, "That day I learned that sharing your ideas with the wrong person can cost you everything. But I also learned that if something is truly yours, you'll find a way to make it happen anyway." My real victory came later. Turns out Jamie got that job. He's now working on actual water purification systems for communities that need them. Me? I'm still trying to figure out what I'm actually good at when I'm not stealing other people's work.